Every day, science pushes further on beyond our yesterday's limits in space exploration, and it may look like the great minds of the scientific community would by now have conducted exhaustive studies of objects like satellites and planets nearest to us. However, the space accommodating our solar system is truly enormous, and it will take us a lot of time to be able to claim it to have been investigated completely. Now I invite you on a journey to our solar system's remotest parts, to its very edge, and see what was the last thing seen by the New Horizons spacecraft on Charon, Pluto's mysterious moon. Cosmo, the first in outer space. Charon is Pluto's largest moon. By now, it has been known to science for over 40 years. This celestial object was spotted on the 22nd of June 1978 by the American astronomer James Christie. It was first seen in images provided by the United States Naval Observatory Flagstaff Station. At first, Charon was defined as Pluto's only moon. However, according to another opinion which spread around later, these two celestial objects had to be considered as a binary system. If Charon were to be given the dwarf planet status, this would effectively be the definitive point in establishing the object's nature and classifying it. As it is, there is no unambiguous definition for these objects in space, and Charon is still classified as Pluto's moon. Charon's diameter measures 1,212 kilometers. This is about twice as little as the diameter of Pluto and about 3 times as little as that of our moon. It takes Charon 6.387 Earth days to orbit Pluto. Interestingly, the rotation period of both objects equals the same time span on account of mutual tidal locking of the two. I will remind you that this means that the celestial objects face each other with one and the same side at all times. Bizarre as it may seem, if we were to find ourselves on the surface of either of the two objects, then Charon in Pluto's sky or else Pluto in Charon's sky would stay in the same position without shifting. For this exciting property, the two are often called a double planet and sometimes a double dwarf planet. Actually, it's worth mentioning that the barycenter of the system does not lie within either of the two objects. Speaking about their mass ratio, Charon's is approximately 11.65% that of Pluto, and as for the distance between the objects, they lie 19,570 kilometers away from each other. Just to compare, the average distance between the Earth and the Moon may reach up to 384,400 kilometers. Another exciting feature of this system was noticed in the period from February 1985 to October 1990, when an extremely rare phenomenon was registered by scientists on many occasions. Namely, alternate eclipses of Pluto by Charon and vice versa. Since Charon's orbital period lasts for less than a week, eclipses were observed to occur about every 3 days. If we compare the two objects' looks, Charon is noticeably darker than Pluto due to its properties. Besides, the two differ very much in their chemical composition. For example, there is a lot of nitrogen ice on Pluto's surface, whereas Charon is covered with water ice, which doesn't make it look quite so reddish. Today, the Pluto-Charon system is believed to have formed as a result of a collision of Pluto and Proto-Charon, with the two having been formed independently prior to the collision. According to some suggested models, Charon may be geologically active and contain liquid under its surface. This assumption is based on the fact that there are ammonia hydrates detected by spectral analysis of the object. There are also hypotheses suggesting that there is cryovolcanism to be registered on Charon. Most information about this celestial object was collected thanks to the New Horizons mission when the interplanetary spacecraft passed through the Pluto-Charon system on the 14th of July 2015. In the course of the mission, images of Charon were obtained from various distances, with the smallest distance to the object during the flyby about 28,800 kilometers. The spacecraft was able to take snapshots of Charon's side seen on closest approach and the opposite one too. A great number of various features were identified on this moon's surface. One of them was a fascinating mountain in the middle of a moat and a few craters whose pictures were taken by New Horizons from a distance of 79,000 kilometers. In addition to that, the photos reveal the surface to boast diverse terrain. For example, there are photos showing mountain ranges and troughs stretching for 1,000 kilometers. They must have come to be under the influence of some internal processes on Charon. In the top right-hand corner, there can be seen a huge canyon whose depth may reach anything from 7 to 9 kilometers. Surprisingly, there are scarcely any craters on Charon, which may only mean that this moon's surface is geologically quite young. Another feature on Charon is a layer of dark dust its north pole is covered with. This bizarre region was dubbed Mordor. With its diameter measuring approximately 475 kilometers, this dark area is believed to have formed due to dramatic temperature drops that regularly occur on Charon's surface. One of the reasons could be Charon's polar winter, which persists for about 100 years. Throughout this period, the surface temperature of the moon drops to 258 degrees Celsius below zero, with molecules of methane and nitrogen captured from Pluto's atmosphere freezing. When summer is back, and the North Pole's temperature rises as high as 213 degrees Celsius below zero, methane and nitrogen evaporate, and only heavy compounds are left in the Mordor region. On exposure to ultraviolet radiation, they turn into tholins. This may actually be the reason why this area is of this dark hue. Today, all the objects on Charon's surface have been informally nicknamed after science fiction and fantasy writers and their books. Among the geological features you can find Clark Montes and Kubrick Montes, craters Kirk, Uhura, Veda, Skywalker, Ripley, Nostromo Chasma, Tardis Chasma, Gallifrey Macula and Vulcan Planum, to name but a few. Apart from Charon, Pluto has 4 more moons we know of. Their names are Styx, Nix, Kerberos and Hydra, and their orbits are almost circular, following the direction of Pluto's rotation. While Pluto and Charon rotate synchronously, the other objects have been noticed not to do so. As usual, here is a brief profile of each. Nix's orbit's radius measures up to 49,000 kilometers, while Hydra's orbit's radius is 65,000 kilometers. This makes them 2 to 3 times further from Pluto than Charon is. Hydra measures 43 by 33 kilometers. Nix's parameters are 54 by 41 by 36 kilometers. Their masses still haven't been estimated yet, but either of the object's mass is roughly gauged at 0.003% that of Charon. The other 2 moons were discovered in June 2011 and July 2012. The size of one of them, Kerberos, is 12 by 4.5 kilometers, with its orbit's radius 58,000 kilometers. Styx measures 7 by 5 kilometers, and its orbit's radius is 42,000 kilometers. In spite of their modest dimensions, the New Horizons spacecraft did manage to take a few snapshots of them too. Having passed through the Pluto-Charon system and having collected data about all of Pluto's moons, the space probe traveled on, and the last images of these objects beamed back to the Earth were the clearest of the day. On the 14th of July 2015, the spacecraft took one of the last and better quality photos of Charon from a distance of 74,176 kilometers. In this picture, many geological features of this object are very clearly seen. Today, Charon admittedly remains a celestial object far from being thoroughly explored. However, thanks to the data gathered in the course of the accomplished missions, we're able to make well-grounded assumptions about its nature, properties and evolution. While the New Horizons mission heralded a revolutionary breakthrough, a number of similar projects are likely to be launched in the nearest decades. which means that very soon we will probably find out more about this exciting space object. And if you'd like to find out more about other objects in the solar system, feel free to specify in the comments, and I will do my best to tell you about them in later videos. Also, feel free to hit the like button under this video. Let's keep in touch.